You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
Welcome back to Where You Live with Gene and Tony. We are broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. We've got a couple of stories that we want to still cover yet on today's show, but Tony, before we do that, I'd like to just let our listeners know about two things. Number one, we've got a great resource, a bi-monthly newsletter that, in fact, one just came out this month, and it's yours free. If you like the topics we cover in the show, you would like to hear things in further detail, like to hear more about the people that we have as guests on our show, you want to get this newsletter. It's free. Just give us a call at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori. She'll make sure that you start receiving it either electronically or by mail. Next, I'd like to let our listeners know, too, that during this holiday, too, we are very proud at New Concepts to be able to get behind a great organization like the Ronald McDonald House. And if you know anything about the Ronald McDonald House, you know that children with these just debilitating illnesses and what it does to the family and being apart, the Ronald McDonald House does a great job in keeping them together, allowing the family to stay together during a very difficult time. They need our help. And so we are looking to collect toiletries and non-perishable food items and toiletries and things that the families need just to be able to get by during this period. So if you'd like to help us, you can do that and bring that over to New Concepts, and we will be bringing everything over between now and the first of the year. And again, you can give us a call at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori, and she'll give you the details in that. Our next story, before we get into that, we need to answer a question from a listener of the show. And this is from Dan, who said, Dear Gene and Tony, question for you, please. My father is buying an inexpensive condo in St. Paul to provide an affordable place for a friend in need. It will be an investment, but mostly he is cutting the price down so she can afford to live in a stable place for a few years.
What a nice thing to do.
Yes. If she would move out, he would just remodel and stay there when he comes to town. The question is, the HOA says it is only owner occupied and he can't rent it out in that meantime. I thought I'd heard on your show that associations can't do that in Minnesota. I just don't want to give him bad information. Thank you for your time, Dan.
Well, I think we have not delivered this message clearly because I think Dan misunderstood what we were saying. HOAs often will enact amendments to their declaration or enact rules that restrict or ban certain activities. And this is one that's become a hot topic lately. A lot of associations are putting restrictions or outright bans on renting your unit in the homeowners association. Dan, what you've heard us talking about was that we're against it. We don't like this type of regulation because it suppresses sales. In this example you brought up, your father probably won't buy this condo or shouldn't buy this condo because rentals are not allowed. So he cannot rent it to another person. That means that association is losing a sale.
Yeah. And the other thing we've talked about is that an association sometimes can, as the phrase goes, spite their nose to save their face. You know,
okay, yeah.
What they're doing is they say we want to try and have this just owner occupied because they have this belief that those are the only people that will take care of things, and that is a wrong thought in and of itself, right there.
Sure.
But they think that, and so because of that, they say we want to say no rentals. It'll make it a better place to live. But now you get this real estate bubble that popped as it had these last few years, and people can't sell. Properties are underwater, and if they can't put a renter in there, what you've done is you've effectively prevented someone from being a responsible citizen to the homeowners association, because now they have a job transfer and they're going they have to go somewhere else.
They can't afford to pay 2 mortgages or mortgage and a rent. So
and you're saying to them, HOA, you can't rent it out either.
So you've forced a foreclosure, I think.
So those are some of the reasons why we're
against it.
Yeah.
Dan, I would advise your father, if he were calling us, number one, to really not buy this condo. If what he wants to do is place a renter in there, don't buy a condo in an association where it's banned. You'll be in trouble the entire time. Or you might want to appeal. He could make an appeal to the board saying this is a family friend under bad circumstances. I'm not going to be renting it out to the general public. He could make an appeal like that, but he's got to get that decided before he purchases. Because once he purchases,
good point, he
is completely responsible for abiding by the documents and the rules and regulations.
Yes, and we want people to be civil, and we want people to obey the governing documents. So even though we don't think it's a good idea,
options. He can buy elsewhere.
Yeah, we're not ever asking anybody to go against the governing documents. Not at all. I mean, you need to know what they are. You need to read them, but then you need to be able to go along with them. And if you can't, like you said, Tony, you buy elsewhere, or you make an appeal. Who knows? Dan's father and an appeal there might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Maybe they've heard it so many times, and now the 22nd time they say, you know what?
we got to
change
this.
Yeah, exactly. So good luck to Dan's father in finding a place. Let's go to our next story. This one is it was reported from Fox 29 News in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And it's called "Speakers Blast the Sound of a Baby Crying" as part of a protest in Philly. Here's what's happening, folks. There is an apartment building called the Vista Apartments on the 2800 block of North 47th Street in Philadelphia. And what's happening is apparently the owner of this building needed to have electrical work done. And so he asked for bids from both union and non-union contractors. He accepted a non-union contract, and they did the work. But now, because of that, it said that the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW Local 98, is now retaliating. And here's what they've done. They have set up loudspeakers that play this recorded message. Your community is crying for jobs, participation, and fair wages. And then what comes across throughout all of this is the sound of a crying baby. and this is played Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. till late afternoon.
My gosh.
Constantly.
My gosh.
So we're talking about an 8 to 10 hour period a day.
Yeah.
Almost half the day.
Yeah.
This has gone over and over and over again.
Now, residents are, of course, losing their minds. Some of them have been quoted as saying, I know everyone has their rights, but don't we have the rights too? Why do we have to listen to this constantly every day? Yeah. The electricians say it's within their First Amendment rights to do this. They say it's well within the law to do this. And apparently no police action has taken place, or no city action has taken place to get them to stop.
Yeah, it's something that to me is just tantamount to what I would call bullying.
Absolutely. I'm going to assume here, because it's not mentioned, that it was perfectly legal for this property owner to hire a non-union contractor. That's not an issue here. So with sour grapes extended, the union is putting up this protest to basically just punish, harass, and bully the residents. I bet the owner doesn't live in that apartment building.
Yeah.
So he's just doing this to the residents. How can that be okay?
I think probably in the mindset of Local 98 here, their thinking was, you know what, if we just share this message over and over again, there are some people who will agree with it, and the others will realize that we're making their lives miserable and they want to live somewhere else in hopes of trying to get back to
it's punitive
to the landlord.
Yeah, I suppose.
And so this is
I've got more to say about this.
Do you?
Yes.
I do too, but
right.
we got to take a break. So let's do that right now. Folks, don't go away. I feel a rant a coming. But after these messages.